In this video, let us try to analyze the character of Paul, the protagonist in the short story The Rocking Horse Winner by D.H. Lawrence, and his psychological journey in the story. So, we will be trying to explore Paul's motivations, his emotional struggles, his growing obsession in the story, and how these culminate in the story's climax. So, the psychological journey of little Paul in D.H. Lawrence's short story, quote unquote, The Rocking Horse Winner, is a tragic exploration of a child's desperate attempt to gain love, security, and identity in a world driven by materialism and emotional coldness. Lawrence weaves Paul's mental and emotional decline through themes of obsession, anxiety, and illusion. So, at the beginning of the story, Paul is portrayed as a sensitive and intelligent child deeply affected by the emotional void in his household. He is especially disturbed by the lack of love from his mother, Hester, who is described as being incapable of genuine affection and obsessed with wealth. Paul internalizes the idea that money is the key to gaining his mother's approval and love, setting him on a path that links financial success with personal worth. There must be more money, there must be more money. This haunting refrain symbolizes the psychological pressure Paul feels from his home environment. And now let us discuss his emerging obsession. Paul begins to ride his wooden rocking horse in a trance-like state, believing that this act will reveal the winners of horse races. This ritual becomes a coping mechanism, a way to impose control over the chaos and unspoken anxieties of his world. His quote-unquote luck becomes synonymous with power, with acceptance, and emotional survival. So his psychological grip on reality begins to slip as he becomes fixated on the notion of luck as a magical force, something his mother claims his father lacks. And now the intensification of anxiety and isolation. So as Paul becomes increasingly successful at betting, his emotional well-being deteriorates. The pressure to sustain his winnings grow day by day, especially as his family's spending increases without acknowledgement of the mysterious income in the household. His actions are secretive, alienating him from his family and normal childhood life. His mental state becomes more frantic and disoriented as he begins to ride his rocking horse feverishly, seeking ever more desperately to predict the next winner. So the psychological collapse and the tragic resolution in the story. Paul's final descent occurs when he attempts to divine the winner of the Derby in an almost maniac state. His mother, sensing something is wrong but failing to understand or connect emotionally, returns too late to prevent the outcome. Paul successfully names the winning horse but collapses shortly later, succumbing to a fatal illness brought on by psychological and physical exhaustion. His final words, "Mother, did I ever tell you I am lucky?" are deeply tragic in the short story, The Rocking Horse Winner.